Hello, this is Alex with the Stadium. Today is Thursday, May 14th, 2020. Today's discussion topic is Yu-Gi-Oh!, as it is every Thursday. And I have a few cards here. Some people may notice a theme. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a game where there's lots of player interaction that can manifest in a variety of different ways. Sometimes you have really direct and simple things. Other times you have to set stuff up to then be able to use abilities on the cards to then interact with your opponent and stop them from doing things. But that's what we're talking about today, is different forms of interaction. So starting with something really simple, we have Cosmic Cyclone. See if we can stop that glare from happening. Probably not. So it's just it's a quick spell of pay 1,000 life points, then target one spell or trap card on the field and banish it. Pretty straightforward, hits a lot of different things, and you really could not be more straightforward as far as complexity and simplicity for the effect. Next up, we have this super beautiful Solemn Judgment. It's a trap card. So when a monster would be summoned or a spell or trap card is activated, you can pay half your life points, negate the summon or activation, and if you do, destroy the card. So as opposed to Cosmic Cyclone, which if it has something that happens when it's activated, for example, for a continuous trap, then Cosmic Cyclone, that would still happen, but you do get to banish the target. And where at Solemn Judgment, you are paying more life points, but you negate the effect, and it also hits summons. And in addition to negating, you do still get to destroy the card. But it's a trap card, so sometimes it takes a little more setup time, as opposed to being able to play this straight from your hand. Speaking of doing things straight from your hand, here we have Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. This is one of the various different what's called hand traps in the game. Basically, they function like traps, and condition is met, do the thing. But you pitch them from your hand as effect monsters. So this one can do a lot of things. When a card or effect is activated that includes any of these effects, as a quick effect, you can discard this card and negate that effect. So anything that would be adding a card from the deck to hand, anything that would special summon from the deck, anything that would send a card from deck to graveyard. But you can only use one Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring per turn. So a lot of these hand traps function similarly. They'll just list different things that would allow you to use them. And they can be monsters in case you have things that care. And then here we have Invoked Makabe, which is an example of having to really set something up to then use an ability. This is far from the only thing that does this, but it's an example I decided to grab out of the case for the video. So this is a fusion monster that you could summon with Alistair the Invoker and any one other light monster. Once per turn, during either player's turn, when a spell or trap card or a monster effect is activated, you can send the same type of card from your hand to the graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, banish that card. So as long as you're able to keep your hand filled, you can really just stop your opponent from doing almost anything, which is obviously very good. So these are just some examples. There we go, focus. These are some examples of some things that you can do to control and interact with what your opponent is doing. What kinds do you really like? Personally, I really like the flexibility of Ash Blossom, because a lot of the more degenerate things in Yu-Gi-Oh!, the powerful things that can win the game on the spot, will involve at least one of these three things. So there's usually a spot where you can interact to stop them, to buy yourself another turn, or even completely shut their deck down if it's all in enough. And I'm really a big fan of these kinds of cards due to the flexibility that they afford without having to do much setup or at all. So let me know what you think in comments, or if you're watching this on the Discord channel, you can just put message in there as normal as well. And yeah, hope you have a great Thursday. That's me.